He went to war without a gun and saved 75 lives. Desmond Doss, a Seventh-day Adventist combat medic, was a man of unwavering faith and courage. Born in Lynchburg, Virginia, Doss grew up with a strong sense of duty and a deep religious conviction. His faith, rooted in the teachings of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, emphasized the sanctity of life and the importance of compassion. This belief system would shape his actions and decisions throughout his life, especially during the harrowing days of World War II. He refused to carry a weapon. Despite the immense pressure from his peers and superiors, Doss stood firm in his conviction. He believed that taking a life, under any circumstance, was morally wrong. This stance made him an outlier in the military, where carrying a weapon was not just a norm, but a necessity. Yet, Doss's commitment to his principles never wavered. He believed killing was wrong. This belief was not just a passive thought but an active principle that guided his every action. In a world torn apart by war, where violence was often seen as the only solution, Doss's pacifism was a beacon of hope. He showed that one could serve their country and fellow soldiers without compromising their moral and ethical beliefs. Doss became a symbol of bravery. His actions on the battlefield were nothing short of heroic. Without a weapon to defend himself, he ventured into the line of fire to save his comrades. His bravery was recognized with numerous accolades, including the Medal of Honor, the highest military decoration awarded by the United States government. This recognition was not just for his acts of valor but also for his unwavering commitment to his principles. He saved lives unarmed in the Pacific theater of World War II. Doss's role as a combat medic saw him in some of the most dangerous and intense battles of the war. Despite the chaos and danger, he remained focused on his mission, to save lives. His actions during the Battle of Okinawa, where he saved 75 men, are legendary. He worked tirelessly, often under heavy fire, to bring the wounded to safety. Doss's story challenges our understanding of heroism. In a world where heroism is often associated with acts of violence and aggression, Doss showed that true heroism lies in acts of compassion and selflessness. His story forces us to rethink our definitions of bravery and courage. It reminds us that one can be a hero without ever taking up arms. Can one be a soldier without taking up arms? Doss's life and actions provide a resounding answer to this question. He demonstrated that the essence of being a soldier is not in the weapons one carries but in the values one upholds. His commitment to saving lives, even at the risk of his own, exemplifies the highest ideals of military service. Doss proved that compassion and courage could coexist on the battlefield. His actions were a testament to the power of empathy and the strength of the human spirit. In the midst of war, where hatred and violence often prevail, Doss's compassion shone through. He showed that even in the darkest times, acts of kindness and bravery can make a difference. He is a testament to the power of faith and the sanctity of human life. Doss's faith was the cornerstone of his actions. It gave him the strength to stand by his convictions and the courage to face unimaginable dangers. His story is a powerful reminder of the impact that one individual's faith and determination can have on the world. Desmond Doss's legacy continues to inspire and challenge us to live with integrity, compassion, and unwavering courage. Born in Lynchburg, Virginia, Desmond Doss grew up in a modest home surrounded by the rolling hills and serene landscapes of the region. His early years were marked by a deep connection to his community and the natural beauty that enveloped it. Doss's upbringing was steeped in the teachings of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. This faith community played a pivotal role in shaping his character and values. From a young age, he was taught the importance of compassion, humility, and service to others. These teachings emphasized nonviolence and the sanctity of all life. The principles of the Seventh-day Adventist Church were not just abstract ideas for Doss, they were a way of life. He internalized these values deeply, understanding that every action he took should reflect his commitment to peace and respect for all living beings. These beliefs would shape his worldview. The serene environment of Lynchburg, coupled with his religious upbringing, instilled in him a profound sense of duty to live a life of integrity and purpose. He often found solace in nature, where he felt a closer connection to his faith and the teachings he held dear. He vowed never to take a human life. This vow was not made lightly, it was a solemn promise rooted in his unwavering belief in the sanctity of life. Doss understood the gravity of this commitment, especially in a world that often seemed to be in constant conflict. As a young man, Doss was known for his kindness and willingness to help others. His community respected him for his gentle nature and his readiness to lend a hand whenever needed. Whether it was assisting an elderly neighbor or volunteering at local events, Doss's actions spoke volumes about his character. He worked as a carpenter before the war. This trade not only provided him with a means to support himself and his family but also allowed him to express his creativity and craftsmanship. Working with wood, shaping it into something useful and beautiful, was a source of pride and satisfaction for Doss. He was devoted to his church and family. These two pillars of his life provided him with a strong foundation and a sense of belonging. His faith community was like an extended family, offering support and guidance through life's challenges. His faith gave him an unshakable moral compass, guiding his decisions and actions. This inner strength was evident to all who knew him. Doss's faith was not just a private matter, it was the lens through which he viewed the world and his place in it, guiding his actions even in the face of adversity. No matter the challenges he faced, Doss remained steadfast in his beliefs. His determination and resilience were a testament to the power of faith and the human spirit's capacity to overcome even the most daunting obstacles. When World War II erupted, the world was plunged into a conflict of unprecedented scale. Nations were called to arms, and millions of young men and women answered that call, driven by a sense of duty, patriotism, and the desire to protect their homelands. The war touched every corner of the globe, and the United States was no exception. As the country mobilized for war, countless individuals stepped forward, ready to serve in whatever capacity they could. Among them was Desmond Doss, a young man from Lynchburg, Virginia. Doss felt a profound call to serve his country, but his path would be different from most. Raised as a devout Seventh-day Adventist, his faith instilled in him a deep commitment to non-violence and the sanctity of life. Despite his strong beliefs, he was determined to contribute to the war effort in a meaningful way. He was drafted in 1942, a time when the need for soldiers was dire. However, Doss made it clear from the outset that he would not carry a rifle or kill enemy soldiers. His convictions led him to seek a role where he could save lives rather than take them. He chose to become a combat medic, a position that would allow him to provide critical care to his fellow soldiers on the battlefield. Doss's stance was met with skepticism and hostility. Many of his fellow soldiers viewed his refusal to bear arms as a sign of cowardice. They ridiculed him, questioned his bravery, and doubted his commitment to the cause. The military culture of the time was one of toughness and aggression, and Doss's pacifist principles seemed out of place in such an environment. However, Doss remained steadfast in his convictions. He believed his duty was to heal, not to harm. Despite the ridicule and opposition, he persevered, driven by an unwavering faith and a deep sense of purpose. His journey was not easy, but his resolve never wavered. Doss's story is a testament to the power of conviction and the courage it takes to stand by one's principles, even in the face of overwhelming adversity. Doss's unit was sent to Okinawa. The battle was fierce, the terrain was treacherous. Doss, unarmed and unafraid, went into the heart of the battle. He carried only his medical kit and his Bible. The battle raged for weeks. American and Japanese forces clashed in brutal hand-to-hand combat. Casualties were high. Doss, amidst the carnage, remained focused on his mission to save as many lives as possible. Doss's unit was tasked with taking Hacksaw Ridge. It was a strategic Japanese stronghold. The Americans faced heavy resistance and casualties mounted quickly. But Doss, well, he refused to take cover. He ran into the open, dodging bullets and explosions. He treated the wounded under intense enemy fire, dragging men to safety. He never lost sight of his mission. He was a beacon of hope on a battlefield littered with despair. Night fell. The fighting continued. Doss, exhausted but undeterred, continued his work. He found wounded soldiers scattered across the battlefield. He treated their wounds. He prayed with them. He gave them hope. He used a unique knot-tying technique he learned in his youth. He lowered the wounded down the steep cliffs of Hacksaw Ridge. He worked tirelessly, driven by his faith and his unwavering commitment to preserving life. Over 75 wounded soldiers lay helpless on Hacksaw Ridge. Doss refused to leave them. For hours he lowered man after man down the cliff face. He dodged enemy fire. He prayed for strength. He never gave up. His actions were nothing short of miraculous. He saved lives while under constant threat of death. He became a symbol of hope. He was a testament to the power of faith. Desmond Doss returned home a hero. He was awarded the Medal of Honor. He was the first conscientious objector to receive this prestigious award. His story challenged the traditional definition of heroism. Doss's story transcends the battlefield. It speaks to the power of faith. It highlights the importance of compassion. It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, hope and humanity can prevail. Desmond Doss's story continues to inspire. He reminds us that true courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite it. He showed the world that one person, armed with faith and compassion, can make a difference. His legacy is a testament to the power of the human spirit. He is a shining example of courage, compassion, and unwavering faith. His story will continue to resonate for generations to come.